A labor management dispute at Boston's public television and radio station WGBH shows little sign of resolution after decisively rejecting an offer Sunday. The largest union there wants to resume negotiations, but the management wants its latest offer to take effect. The Association of Employees of Educational Foundation represents employees who work on content and promotion. The union's affiliated with the Communications Workers of America. We'd like to welcome the local president, who's also the local host of All Things Considered, Jordan Weinstein. Thank you very much for being with us, Jordan.
Thanks for the invitation.
Jordan, for viewers and members and listeners, what's the big deal in all this?
Well, the big deal is that our union, representing 280 WGBH employees across the board, we represent all professions and all titles. It's called a wall-to-wall union. We've been there since 1938, and this is the very first time that WGBH management is attempting to either severely marginalize our union or in effect to bust our union. And they're doing it in a variety of ways. They, from the very beginning, stopped taking dues out of our paychecks, which is something called dues checkoff, which was a very aggressive and very unusual act or tactic on the part of management. They have been telling new employees that they don't have to join the union. And also, in terms of the proposals that they're making, some of the major ones, and the major one actually, is management's insistence that they be able to outsource any and every job that they want to, that we currently do. And we have attempted over the course of 6 months in negotiating with them to come up with conciliatory and compromise counterproposals to allow them latitude and flexibility in outsourcing, but they have insisted that that's just not enough. It's not about money, it's not about wages. We're very close in terms of our agreement for wages. It's not about benefits. We have accepted pretty much all the benefit proposals that management has put on the table, giving management hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings.
In health coverage, I think you made some concessions, right?
In health coverage
pensions,
on pensions, right. We have agreed to pretty much have the amount of retirement benefit that WGBH management has to contribute. So that really amounts to hundreds of thousands of dollars for an employee staff of about 280. So it's not about wages, it's not about benefits. It really is about power, and we feel that WGBH simply does not want to have a union that they have to deal with.
What about what people see and hear on TV and radio? Because, you know, I think one of the things people have valued over the years is a great amount of continuity in both of the main NPR outlets in Boston. And yet, right now, within this whole field, there's all this flux going on. So what about the argument that the union just bogs this down?
Well, WGBH management has been making that claim that we have tied them up in a wall of rules, or a web of rules, as they call it. But we have actually, in practice, we've been there for 38 years. We have always negotiated with WGBH and come to fair concessions and flexibility. We've always been there to attempt flexibility. The problem right now is that they seem intent on that flexibility is not enough, that they simply want the ability to outsource all jobs, to be able to discharge without due cause or due process artistic professionals, those people that work on the air and direct people on the air. And one of the most egregious provisions that they have in their final offer has to do with half of our union members who work on something called project contracts. They want to essentially convert those people into at-will employees that they can fire at any time without cause and without any protections or due process. So this final offer affects so many of our members, it really was not very difficult to foresee that it would be so overwhelmingly rejected.
What about this door that they want to open to the outsourcing? How do you think that would be used?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, but we can speculate. Initially, what management was telling us that they wanted to do was to be able to outsource to independent producers all national television productions. So this would be programs like Frontline, Nova, Masterpiece. Now, the irony is that those programs are already outsourced to a certain degree because we have, over the years, agreed to flexibility in their ability to outsource. What we proposed to management was that, excuse me, fine, we'll agree that you can outsource these programs because you're already doing it anyway, but just agree to keep the ancillary jobs in-house, the post-production work, the marketing jobs, the graphics work, some of the web design work that goes along with many of these programs. And management told us across the table, no, that's not enough. And frankly, what they said was, even though they told us publicly and in big meetings with our own members that they were really wanting to outsource national television production, the language that's contained in their final offer gives them the flexibility to outsource anything and everything. So that could include the outsourcing of telemarketing services. We have people who work in-house who do phone calls to raise funds. WGBH is involved in constant fundraising, or pretty much constant fundraising. Those jobs we could see go to Utah or down to Jamaica or to India, for all we know. We have graphics people who do wonderful graphics work. That work could be farmed out. We have people that do post-production editing. That work could be farmed out. And what we're afraid of is that these jobs not only get farmed out, but they get farmed out to organizations that don't pay a decent wage, that don't have their people on staff, that hire freelancers, that don't pay benefits. So, I mean, it may be an extreme term to say that they would be outsourcing to sweatshop places, but you get the idea.
Yeah, and the management could say that the viewers will get more programming and more nice things in those programs because we don't have to pay for all these people who actually live in the city of Boston or Cambridge.
Well, that's a good point. That is a very good point. And that might be true, that they would save money. But the irony here is, and the contradiction is, that WGBH, when it mounts fundraising campaigns, calls them community campaigns. And they profess to be a community organization that cares about the community. Well, what is your role in the community if you're outsourcing jobs where the money actually goes out of the community? We feel that it's important that public money, taxpayer money, they're fighting to protect federally funded monies and foundation grants from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Yet at the same time, they're fighting their own union members here at WGBH.
What about the money? Because I know it's not the fault of the union or even the management here in Boston, but you got that threat of losing the federal money. You got the city of Boston trying to get more money out of GBH too. So right. It looks as if that's a problem for both labor and management.
Oh, it is, absolutely. And our union is absolutely in favor of the continuation of federally funded monies for public broadcasting. It is used as seed money to produce all the great programs that you see on PBS, Frontline, Nova, Masterpiece. A lot of that comes from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting through PBS as seed money, co-production money. So what's ironic about this is that while WGBH and many of the other public broadcasters are fighting right-wing attempts in Washington to cut federal funds for public broadcasting, they're using right-wing tactics on their own union here in Boston to bust it.
So where do you go from here? I mean, we had a decisive vote against the last offer. The station says, no, you're going to have to take it or leave it. Any wiggle room?
Well, we feel that there's always wiggle room. We felt that management, in making its final offer a couple of weeks ago, short-circuited the collective bargaining process. We did not feel that we were at an end of negotiations. Management, for its own reason, drew an artificial deadline and said, this is as far as we're going to go, and walked away from the bargaining table. And we are hoping that our overwhelming rejection by our members of this final offer sends a signal to WGBH that our union is unified in objecting to its final offer and the terms and provisions, And we are inviting WGBH to come back to the bargaining table and continue talking so we can reach a mutually agreeable contract.
Great, thank you very much. From the union at WGBH, Jordan Weinstein. We'll have more news in a moment after this message.